Hi, this is Nathan. So I just shaved not too long ago, so it's kind of different. Um, so yeah, today I kind of want to keep this simple. Um, kind of still along the same lines as National Socialism, but like a lot different. I hope from what people see um, on like mainstream, because what I'm seeing from like the mainstream people, like you're talking about Mike Enoch and Richard Spencer and some of these other people. Honestly, the way when I see them, like these people are, they look just like controlled opposition. That's what they look like, honestly. And like I'm not a genius, but like when I look at these people, like all of their mannerisms, everything that they're saying is just like, why would you say that? Like if you honestly um, look at what they're saying, like you just look at it and just like, why would you say that? That doesn't make any sense. Like, but anyways, So right now I'm just gonna try and explain what I think about Richard Spencer, and hopefully it makes sense. Like the reason I'm saying this is not because like I think I'm like somebody important or anything, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that I have a responsibility to try and share like what I believe is like the best way to go. If I have an idea, or I want to share something with someone else, like something I think might help other people and prevent us from going in a direction that would be harmful to the rest of the country and to every American. I want to try and share that with everybody. So because ultimately it's in my best interest and in everybody else's best interest for us to go in the best direction possible. So I don't see why we shouldn't be working together on that. So um, and genuinely working together, not just like for what's beneficial for me, because I'm not just doing this just for me. I'm doing this just for everybody else, because I think this is the right way to go for us all. So Richard Spencer, I'm going to talk about today. So Richard Spencer is like a white guy that's like age 30. He's been kind of like the main spokesperson for the alt right. I mean, you had Milo Yiannopoulos, the gay white man, totally different than Richard Spencer. And I actually like Milo a lot. I've liked a lot of what Milo had to say. But even Milo, there was things towards the end of where his popularity was, where he was just saying things and it was just downright offensive. And I'm like, man, this guy isn't like actually trying to like, he doesn't actually stand for a cause or anything. He's just being trying to be offensive for being offensive's sake. So it's just one of those things. But like Richard Spencer, kind of like, he was one of the main guys. He was there with David Duke at the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, of the white people. They called white. They call themselves white nationalists, but other people call them white supremacists. And I wouldn't call them, personally. I'm kind of on the fence right now because I don't know exactly what I think. I honestly think Richard Spencer is a white supremacist, just because of the way he speaks and what he says. But and then David Duke, I'm not so sure about. I think David Duke actually is a white nationalist, which I don't think there's anything wrong with being a nationalist, who wants to protect your culture and protect your people. Because I mean, it just makes sense. The nation state is the best way of protecting people in general. When people have protect their language, culture, society, morals, military defense, uh, all those things. Like the only way to do that really is to have a nation state. Without that, like if you have individual states, like small states, you can't really do that as well, like, because you're talking about such a huge expanse, such a huge region. The best way to do that is on a national basis, but it's why there's nations. So it's just one of those things. Look at my hat. My hat's a little off. My hair's not as nice as it normally looks. Um, but um, but yeah. So that's what I think of nationalism. I think nationalism is so important, like, because nations protect large number of people's individual rights, um, because they belong to the nation. That's why we're the United States of America. You know, the whole country. We're all united for that specific reason, because we all need each other. We all recognize that. Um, we all work for each other's benefit. So that's part of the benefits of being a nation. We wouldn't have that if we weren't a nation. Um, but white supremacists are a little bit different from white nationalists, because white nationalists say, um, basically kind of somewhat want an ethnostate, but like they kind of just want to, like, white nationalists really just want to protect the interests of white people in the United States. That's basically what they stand for here in the United States. White supremacists, they kind of want an ethnostate. An ethnostate is basically a white state, you know, like a white, basically, or either a white favored state, which I don't agree with that. Like, I'm not a white supremacist. Like, I might be, a nationalist because I want to protect, I feel like there's certain laws in the United States that are disadvantaged to white people. Like, for instance, like college and these different things. Honestly, there's so much money that the government is making, and like, you would have no idea how much money these people are making. These bankers are making billions, millions of dollars off of people. Anyways, but anyways, that comes down to like, these colleges and universities. There's professors shouldn't be making money, making, all these, like, a lot of these places, the only reason why they do construction projects on these big colleges and universities is because they get grant money for that. And that comes from the federal government. That comes from taxes, which is bullshit. And, like, people are getting taxed for bullshit reasons and they're not getting a fucking education, good education. Which is, it's just a racket. The whole system is a racket. So anyways, that's one of the reasons, like, I have to say that. Like, that's one of the reasons why, like, I think it's so unfair, the system that's taking place now. It's so, so unfair. And it needs to be corrected, because the way it's going right now is just people are just suffering needlessly. Needlessly suffering for no other reason other than the fact that the system is broken. So, but the reason I'm talking about Richard Spencer today is because I don't think Richard Spencer is the right guy to fix or to be president or leader or whatever. Okay? And there's kind of 5 different reasons why I believe this. There's actually more than that, but basically 5. Number 1, I think Richard Spencer is arrogant. Like, and I hate saying this about anybody, but when I've seen a couple of interviews that he did, and he just came across as, I have all the answers. I'm a white guy. I love, basically where he says, I love white privilege, and I want there to be more white privilege. And for me, that's like, I think that's offensive, like, honestly, because he's kind of making white people look bad, like, in a way, like, I don't want to be more privileged than someone else. Like, yes, I love the freedoms that I have. Yes, I love being an American citizen, like, but that also comes with responsibilities too, and I don't take that responsibility lightly, I don't, like, just try to hawk all my responsibility off on somebody else and then I have all the privilege. That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I think it means to be an American. Like Richard Spencer to me comes off as somebody who's only concerned about white people. Are you only concerned about white people, or are you concerned about Mexican people? Are you concerned about black people? And then 3, he wants an ethnostate, like an only white state. I'm not saying, like, I'm not saying that he couldn't do that if he wanted to, but honestly, I don't think that should happen, honestly, because America is built on immigration. They're not built on immigration, but America is a nation full of immigrants. You know, it's true. That's a true statement. Like, America was made by immigrants. Like, people came to this country. They were immigrants. They were pilgrims originally when they first came in. They weren't the original indigenous population. So for, you know, us white people to get upset, you know, when people legitimately want to come to this country, you know, I understand there's a difference between terrorism. There's a difference between, you know, people who want to come here illegally. There's a difference between that. But then you have people who want to come here legally, and for us to say, no, you can't do that because you're not a white person, that's fucked up, and it's totally hypocritical about what it means to be an American. And for someone to not get that, like, as an American, that to me is like, it's just biggest sign of disrespect ever. Like, you don't even care enough about American history to recognize the fact that America was made of primarily immigrants coming to this country, and for you to, you know, denigrate people who are immigrants who come to this country as immigrants, it's the height of disrespect, just human dignity in general. I mean, it's like, why should I respect this guy who's a white nationalist who wants me to support him, who wants me to vote for him? Why should I support this guy when he obviously only cares about white people? You know, what about all the other people out there that are American citizens? You want me to just toss them out into the wind? Fuck you. Like, I don't care. Like, these people, everyone who is an American is an American citizen, regardless of whether or not you think they deserve to be an American citizen. So, I mean, like, and I'm not going to change my position on that. Like, yeah, and I don't think an ethnostate's going to solve the cultural problems. And let me explain why I believe that. Like, I don't know how much time I actually have to do this, but an ethnostate's not going to solve all the problems. Like, an ethnostate is a state, like, basically of all pretty much people of the same ethnicity. Okay? But that's not going to solve any of the, like, political and social and cultural problems, really. That might solve a few. It might make it a little bit easier, like the problems that, like, Americans have, like, in the American community, white community has with the Muslim community. But like, overall, that's not going to solve anything. Like, and you gotta recognize that. Like, ultimately, we just need to be more tolerant of one another. That's basically what it is. We need to, in some ways, be more tolerant. Now, there's a difference. Like, when it comes to security, that's one thing. You can't be tolerant of someone who's acting in a way that is who is promoting values in your country that are detrimental for your people. Okay, that's one thing. You can't allow that. Like, so what I'm talking about is, like, you have people in this country who are, like, maybe if they're in the Muslim community, they might be promoting, you know, jihad or something like that here in the United States, or promoting, you know, like, rebellion or something like that. You can't allow that, because that's bad for the state. That's bad for everyone. We need the government. As much as we despise government, like, we need government to make sure that everything gets accomplished that needs to be accomplished, and that basically, that, like, civilization is functional. Like,